a topic usually starts with an introduction. So I'm going to start with the introduction. So this topic, I find this topic is narrative tenses. Narrative tenses. So in this particular topic, it outlines three tenses. That is past continuous tenses, the past perfect simple, not the past perfect tenses, the simple tenses, and the past perfect continuous tense, which, when you look at them, are so much helpful to us to say what we want more efficiently. After you know all these tenses, it helps us to know what we want more efficiently. They also make description or descriptions more detailed and colorful. You can describe something in a detailed manner and in a very colorful way. However, almost any story can be told using the past simple tense. So it is often useful to look at these tenses together with the context of the function narrative that is relating to past events. So at the end of this particular topic, Emma, Irene, and Yvette, these are some of the objectives that you're supposed to have learned. These are some of the objectives that at the end of this particular unit, what are you supposed to be able to do? So you will be able to describe the various tenses. You'll be able to describe them, the various tenses, and how they can be used in an English or in English language. So at the end of this particular unit, you must be able to describe the various tenses and how they can be used in English language. Objective number 2 of this particular topic is that you must be able to explain the importance of tenses in describing an event in a news item. Remember, this is English for beginning journalists. So at the end of the day, there must be something about news and presentation of news. The next thing, or the last but not least objective, is that you must be able to appreciate the significance of narrative literary journalism. Narrative literary journalism. We are going to look at what is narrative literary journalism. So without wasting time, I'm going direct to the real thing. And for your information, I will leave an assignment. You're supposed to have done your assignment 1, and I'll give a duration at which that assignment should be submitted. When you are doing assignment on the portal, you usually submit them on the portal. Please don't submit your assignment on WhatsApp. Don't submit your assignment on Facebook. Some submit via Facebook. Do not submit your assignment via the email. And the best thing I will actually tell you as a communicator, if a message is sent to you via email, you respond to it via email. If it is sent to you via WhatsApp, it is always good to respond to it via WhatsApp. If it is sent to you via this particular portal, please respond via this particular portal. If you send your assignment via any other means, it is null and void. It is never counted. Even if you submitted on time, it is never counted. Are we in agreement, Yvette?
Yes.
Yes, Irene, are we in agreement?
Yes.
Irene, you have disappeared. Yes.
No, I'm just.
So when you're given an assignment, submit it via this particular portal. If you submit it via any other portal or any other means, it is never counted. Please, because I will mark it via this particular portal. And by the end of everything, you'll be able to know your marks. So before we when we finish this particular topic, I'll give the assignment. You can decide to do it today and finish it. You can decide to do it tomorrow, even on Saturday or on Sunday. I'll give a duration of time at which you're supposed to submit your assignment. Remember, if you don't submit your assignment on time, again, it does not count. So be time conscious as far as assignment and everything are concerned. Now let's look at narrative tenses. So narrative tenses, as we speak, these are grammatical structures that most of the time we use when telling a story. Why are we looking at narrative tenses? You're looking at narrative tenses because you are journalists. Journalists are storytellers. I don't think there is any time in your entire life since you were born or since you realize that there is something called TV or radio or even newspaper that somebody told you today there is no news. There is always news even when it doesn't look like there is any news. That means you as a journalist, you must be a storyteller even when there are no stories to tell. Apart from being able to tell the story properly, you must also be a good news storyteller through writing, through what we call broadcast, through so many things. You must be a very good storyteller. So we are saying narrative tenses are grammatical structures that we use when telling a story. That's why we are talking about stories, because we are all journalists and we must be very good at storytelling. Or we use them when talking about situations. Like Yvette, if you're talking to Kathure, we have Kathure there. If you're talking, Kathure, if you're talking to Kathure, just know that what you use is narrative tenses. To narrate means to do what? To give a story. To narrate is to give a story. That's why we call them narrative tenses. So we use them when talking about situations. It can be any situation. Also about activities which happens at a defined past time, or maybe at a defined past time. Let's say that. So the most common of these is the past simple. So we are going to look at the past simple tense. Three other tenses are past continuous. So we have past continuous, the past perfect simple, and the past perfect continuous. These ones, all of them that I've just mentioned, can help us to say what we want more efficiently. They help us to say it more efficiently. They help us to color a story. They help us to be able to describe something such that when you're describing it to somebody, he can visualize it in his mind, and visualize it in his mind correctly and without doubt. They also make description more detailed and colorful. That's what I've just said. However, almost any story can be told using the past simple tense. So then, when narrating past events, this is something that you must know, and this is something that you must bear in mind. When narrating past event, avoid using the past. Avoid using the present perfect and the present simple. Why? Because you come to realize that they will confuse you. Not only confusing you, but also the reader or the listener about the things maybe that really happened, or about maybe the story that you're telling. So avoid doing what? Avoid using the present perfect and simple, present simple, because they will confuse you, they confuse the reader, they will also confuse the listener, about that particular story that you're about to tell them. So the first thing that you're going to look at, we are going to look at the simple past tense. Let me project it there. You look at number 1. The simple past tense. I want you to pay attention because I'll be asking questions randomly. Emma, Irene, I'll be asking you questions, and also Yvette, I'll be asking you questions randomly. And I don't expect you to just mute and then do what? Then disappear all of a sudden, and then you reappear. You run away from the question and then you come back after the question has expired. So the simple past tense, it is used to express a completed action at a definite time in the past. The simple past tense is used to express a completed action at a definite time in the past. For example, let me show you something. I don't know that it will be there. I don't know it will appear here. It cannot appear. It cannot appear. Maybe let me try something. Let me try to show it in another way. Let me try to show it in another way. I hope we will be able to see. As possible to explain it in my own way, in my own one. I cannot be able to share that because even when I try to share, it starts breaking. The sound starts breaking. So I hope you can hear me properly or clearly. So we have said that past tense is used to express a completed action at definite time in the past. For example, when you say, I woke up at 8 a.m., had a shower and ate some breakfast. I left for work at 9 p.m. You see, that is simple past tense. It actually tells you something that happened in a definite time. Let me share it. I'm sharing it here so that we can see an example of the simple past tense. I woke up at 8 a.m., had a shower, and ate some breakfast. I left for work at 4 a.m., at 9 a.m. So you can, the reason why we have the diagram that I wanted to share there had got number 1. I mean, it is something that can explain why this particular sentence has one particular sentence labeled as 1, another one labeled as 2, and the other one labeled as 3, and the next sentence, the last one, labeled at 4. But I will share the notes with you once we're done with this particular class, and maybe you'll be able to understand better. So when you look at this particular sentence, you can see it is something that happened not in that much. I mean, it is not so long time ago, but something that happened like a few minutes or a few hours ago. So when you talk about the simple past tense, you're talking about things that just happened some few hours, not things that happened yesterday. That one cannot be simple past tense. Simple past tense are things that occurred some few hours within that particular day. That's why we are getting time there. The next thing we can say that the past simple, the simple past tense is most common tense after when in questions. So as far as the past simple tense are concerned, they are usually used to express habits of the past or past habits. An example in a sentence, maybe we can say, let me share this one. So we are expressing past habits. I went to school in London until my family moved to Birmingham or Birmingham. So I went to school in London until my family moved to Birmingham. So one, we have said they are used to indicate time. The next thing, they are also used to do what? To express a past event. So those are two uses. So those are only two uses of what we call the simple past tense. Then we go to what we call the past continuous tense. I have indicated some examples of these particular tense. So the next one is the past continuous tense. Remember, you're talking about continuous, meaning there is something that is still going on. When you talk about past continuous, it is there was something that was still going on, or it is still going on. That's why we call it continuous. For example, in a sentence. Now, before we go for as far as, for example, is concerned, you can say that the past continuous is usually used to describe the situation in which the event of narratives occurred. So here we are describing the situation. The first one, as far as the simple tense is concerned, it is used to express completed action at a definite time. So somebody might ask you, what is the how do we use past tense, simple past tense? So you must be able to tell him that it is used to express a completed action at a definite time in the past. Then we have this other one, the past continuous tense. The past continuous tense is used to describe the situation in which the event of a narrative occurred. Maybe we can give an example so that we understand. I'm still using the first example that I gave you in the simple past tense. We can have an example like this one. When I woke up at 8 a.m., the sun was shining. You can actually see the difference. When I woke up at 8 a.m., the sun was shining. Shining is a continuous tense. And the birds were singing. Singing is a continuous tense. I had a shower. That is a simple past tense. Ate some breakfast. That is simple past tense. And left for work at 9 a.m. This is past simple past tense. So you can actually see when I woke up at 8 a.m., the sun was shining. Was shining is a continuous tense. The birds were singing. Were singing is what? Is a continuous tense. So this particular simple past tense combined with continuous tense, when you combine them, you can actually, what I'm trying to say is this, the past continuous tense is when we have continuous tenses combined with the simple past tenses. I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying. But if you have a question, you ask. If you don't have a question, I will ask you a question. Like Yvette, can you give us an example of past continuous tense? And Irene, prepare yourself for the simple past tense. And please don't disappear. Yvette, I'm waiting.
Pardon.
I'm saying,
Pardon.
you give us an example of past continuous tense. Then Irene will give us an example of simple past tense. If Irene, you are ready, you can give us an example. Or Yvette, you can give us an example when you are ready.
Example. The contest was the highlight of this week.
That is just one word. Can you combine like some simple sentences to come up with at least a sentence that is composed of like three simple sentences. We are waiting. Like the one that I've given down there. When I woke up at 8 a.m., the sun was shining and the birds were singing. I had shower, ate some breakfast, and left for work at 9 a.m.
Victor went for the game. He was so excited. He played well and won the gold medal.
Irene? Irene, we are waiting for your example.
I washed the clothes until it grew dark.
Yvette, you need to work on your example. Irene, your example is too short. Also work on your example. It should be like the one that I've given you. At least you get a clear picture. Like for example, when you read the first example of the simple past tense, you can actually get a clear picture. Even when you close your eyes and I start telling you, I woke up at 8 a.m. So you can picture 8 a.m., had a shower. You can picture me going to the bathroom to have a shower and ate some breakfast. You can actually picture me eating some breakfast and I left work at 9 a.m. So you can picture me now going to work. So in short, what I did, I was preparing myself to go to work. You can actually see that picture clearly. Even when you're talking about the past continuous tense, your sentence, you need to work on it. Remember, when you're talking about narrative tenses, the main aim of a narrative tense is to be able to color that what you are describing clearly. It's for you to be able to tell a story in a very clear way, in which that when a reader is reading or when a reader is listening to you, he can be able to to form a very clear picture in his mind about what you're talking about, not just one sentence. Anyway, we can continue. So we are talking about the past continuous tense. I've given an example. So in the past continuous tense, so we have said that the past continuous tense can be used to describe, or is actually used to describe situation in which the event of the narrative occurred, of which I've given an example that when I woke up at 8 a.m., the sun was shining, the birds were singing, you can say the birds were chirping. I had a shower, ate some breakfast, and left for work at 9 a.m. And I've said that the best way to look at continuous, you can see there, the sun was shining. Was shining is a continuous tense. Was singing is a continuous tense. I had a shower, this is a past tense, a simple past tense. Ate some breakfast, this is a simple past tense, and left for work. Left for work is past, simple past tense, right? So the next thing, the past continuous tense can also be used to express an activity in progress at a time. It can be used to do what? To express an activity in progress at a time in the past. Let me share that one. So number 2, we are saying, this is our number 2, that the past continuous tense can be used to express an activity in progress at a time in the past. I didn't realize that my microphone was off. Maybe I can repeat what I said. I can repeat what I have said. Thank you so much, Irene, for reminding me that my microphone is off. So, before I muted my microphone, we talked about the past continuous tense, and we said that the past continuous tense is used to describe the situation in which the event of the narrative occurred. Then I gave an example of when I woke up at 8 a.m., the sun was shining and the birds were singing. I had a shower, ate some breakfast, and left for work at 9 a.m. That is an example of the past continuous tense used as a description of the situation in which the event of the narrative occurred. The next thing, the past continuous tense can be used to express an activity in progress at time in the past. It can be used to express an activity in progress at a time in the past. For example, what were you doing when I phoned you? Or what were you doing when I called you? That is an example of the past continuous tense being used to express an activity in the progress at a time in the past. So we have two uses. Number one, to describe the situation in which the event occurred. Number two, used to express an activity in progress at a time in the past. And that one we have said, what were you doing when I phoned you, as an example? We gave that one as an example. The past continuous tense can also be used to express the idea of, an interrupted activity. So it can be used to express an idea of an interrupted activity. For example, she was cooking dinner when the doorbell rang. She was cooking dinner when the doorbell rang, meaning that she was interrupted when she was cooking dinner, meaning that she had to stop cooking dinner and go and open the door to see who was at the door. So she was interrupted. So it is used to express the idea of interrupted activity. Number two, it is used to express the idea of unfinished activity, an unfinished activity. Remember, the activity is not finished. For example, I was reading the book you lent me, or I was reading the book you gave me, meaning I was not able to finish. I did not finish reading it. Maybe you called me when I was reading your book. So it is unfinished activity. I was reading, and a very good example is that I was reading the book you lent me. The next, it can also be used, the past continuous tense can also be used to express the idea of a repeated action. Can also be used to express an idea of a repeated action. For example, they were shooting at the enemy. Remember, when you're shooting at the enemy, you don't shoot him at once. And remember, we are talking about they were shooting at the enemy, meaning that there were many shots that were made directed towards the enemy. So it is used to express an idea of a repeated action. For example, they were shooting at the enemy. The next one is it is also used to express an idea of a temporary situation. A temporary situation, not a permanent, but a temporary situation. For example, you can say he was standing on the corner waiting for a bus. Meaning it is a temporary situation because the bus finally came. It's just like saying I was waiting for an M-Pesa message from John at 2. Meaning the M-Pesa message came. Or I was waiting for Jane or for Yvette at the bus station yesterday at 3. Meaning at the end of the day, Yvette showed up. So it is a temporary situation. Any question, Yvette?
No question.
Steven, you've joined late. Is there any question?
No.
Irene?
No question.
No question.
Can I ask you a question then? Give me or you can explain to us all the uses of past continuous tense. Everything that I've said about past continuous tense, that goes to Irene. Everything that I've said about past continuous tense.
Okay.
Irene should be assisted by Emma. So Irene, if you stuck on the way, Emma should take charge.
Okay.
Yeah, continue now. Start.
We say that the past continuous tense describes the way situations occur and the way they happen in progress, but it describes these events in the past. We also give examples.
That's very nice.
Yes. We gave examples of
Can you give us that example?
okay, like when I woke up in the morning, the sun was shining, the birds were chatting, I headed to the table, went to eat, and drifted to sleep. Yes.
That's very nice. Continue.
That's what I captured.
Emma, take charge. So Irene has captured only the first point.
Then the second point, you saying that it is used to express activities in progress at a time in the past.
Good.
And you gave an example and said, what were you doing when I called you?
That's nice.
Okay, then you said it can express the idea of number one, uninterrupted activity.
Nice. What can you give us an example of an interrupted activity?
He was reading when the bell rang.
You have tried, but that was not my example. Anyway, okay, continue.
The second point was the idea that it can express was unfinished activity.
Give us your example.
My example. I was reading the book you lent me.
That is my example, not yours. That is very nice. Continue.
The third one was to a repeated action.
Give me an example.
You said they were shooting at the enemy.
Yeah, they were shooting at the enemy, yes, and there were many. When you hear they were, that means that those people are many. There were more than 2. more than one? Give
Number
us the last one.
to express an idea in a temporary situation. You
Give me
say
an example of an idea of in a temporary situation.
you are standing at a corner waiting for the bus.
That's very nice. Yvette should clap for you. You have tried. That means you are taking notes. Yvette, clap for Emma. Emma, those are your claps. Eh? So then we can continue. Eh? We can continue. So we have looked at the past continuous tense. Let's now go to the past perfect simple tense. Past perfect simple tense. Yvette, now you should put your ears on the ground, because after this I'll ask you several questions. You will explain to us about the past perfect simple tense. Not only Yvette, I can decide to tell Stephen to say it. So Yvette usipotee. So the past perfect simple tense. So the past perfect simple tense is usually used to show an action or situation that happened before the event. It is used to show that an action or a situation happened before an event in the narrative described in the simple past. Remember, we talked about the simple past tense. I'm repeating again. The past simple tense is used to show that an action or situation happened before the events in the narrative described in the simple past. The past perfect simple tense is used to show that an action or situation happened before the events. So they happened before the events in the narrative described in the simple past. I'm going to give an example. I'm going to give an example. Before I give an example, let me show you what we have already discussed. So we have discussed about the simple past tense, the past continuous tense. We are going to the third one. That one we are calling it the past perfect simple tense. The past perfect simple tense. So a very good example in that particular past perfect simple tense is, let me put it there so that we can all read wherever we are, and so that we can use it as an example when the time comes to explain. That is, so the past perfect simple tense. When I woke up at 8 a.m., you see we are using the word, this particular, the past continuous tense. When the example, when I woke up at 8 a.m., the sun was shining, so there is continuous tense, and the birds were singing, so that is continuous tense. I had slept, you see, I had slept, so that is past perfect. I had slept really well at night, really well the night before. I had a shower, ate some breakfast, and left for work at 9 a.m. Now, from there, you can actually see, you can go back to the definition we have, to how it is used when we say that it is used to show that an action or situation happened before the events in the narrative described in the simple past. When you look at that sentence, it's actually trying to explain that particular situation that actually happened in the narrative described in the simple past. this particular simple. You come back here to simple past, and then you can see I woke up at 8 a.m. So they are trying to describe this particular one. The first sentence, when I woke up, I mean this one, I woke up at 8 a.m., had shower, and ate some breakfast, left for work at 9 a.m. The first one, and a simple past tense, this is what it's trying to explain. The next thing, we can actually say that the past perfect simple is used to make a narrative more interesting to read. It is used to make a narrative more interesting to read. For example, look at that particular example that I've given you. I woke up at 9 a.m. and left for work after I had a shower and ate some breakfast. Now I have used conjunction to come up with this particular sentence. I woke up at 9 a.m. Let me share it. So nimetumia conjunction to come up with this particular example. Because you can use conjunction to come up with various examples. To join those simple sentences together so that they make sense. I woke up at 9 a.m. and left for work after I had a shower and eaten some breakfast. And the past perfect tense doesn't have much. It doesn't have much. So Yvette, maybe you can tell us, what have you understood about the perfect simple tense? No, the past perfect simple tense.
So the past perfect simple tense is used to make a narrative interesting.
Good.
Example, I woke up at 8 a.m. and left for work after I had a shower and eaten some breakfast.
That's very nice.
Then
continue.
The other one is to show an action that took place before the event in a narrative described in the simple past.
Good. Example.
So the example was, when I woke up at 8 a.m., the sun was shining and the birds were singing. I had slept really well the night before. I had a shower, ate some breakfast, and left for work at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I know you are reading from what I have projected. Anyway, you have tried. So we go to the next one, which is the past perfect. Is there any question so far? Do you have any question from others? You know, I had a student complaining so bitterly, saying that he doesn't like e-learning, what we are doing, he doesn't understand, and so on and so forth. Actually, it's a year one semester one student complaining so bitterly about e-learning, and it's like he was forced to do it. So I don't believe that. I don't think that there is somebody who was forced to do e-learning. Anyway, without wasting time, there is often what we call time for asking questions. The reason why we ask questions is because we want you to understand more. Is there any question? Remember, don't shy to ask a question. Even at this point, even tukiwa mahali huko, just know Irene hakuoni, Emma hakuoni, huoni, so unaweza uliza swali vile unataka, hata ile swali yenye hata ungeulizwa kwa darasa na ushindwe kujibu. Ile swali ungeuliza kwa darasa lakini uwe shy. At this point you're not supposed to be shy because I can't see you, you can't see me, but I'll try my best as much as I can to actually answer your question. Do we have any questions from anybody before we proceed? Because sometimes makosa inakwanga ya mwanafunzi, haulizi swali alafu unasema hii learning ni mbaya, walimu wanafunza, they don't even care about whether we are understanding or not. And then you give an example like English, the teacher doesn't ask whether there is any question. The best thing about this particular class is that it is being recorded. As we speak right now, you can actually even see on your screen, it is being recorded. So if you say that I don't even ask, I don't give you time to ask a question, we will go back to the archives and read and listen to everything. Anyway, it is always good to actually deviate from learning a little bit. Everything is about learning. So let's look at the past what? The past perfect continuous tense. Please do not confuse the past perfect continuous tense with the past perfect simple tense. Do not confuse that. So the past perfect continuous tense is used. Now this one will go to Stephen. Stephen, you will explain to us everything that we are going to learn today as far as past perfect continuous tense are concerned. So the past perfect continuous tense is used for longer activities that were happening continuously up until a specific or a specified time in the past. The past perfect continuous is used for longer activities that were happening continuously up until a specified time in the past. Remember, all these we are talking about the past. That's why we are calling them the narrative tenses. The narrative tenses, we say that they are good, so that they are good, they help you to express something or to describe something, so that there is what we call a colorful painting on someone's mind, so that somebody can understand exactly what you're talking about. And this one is especially when you come to where we write news. News is, feature stories are written. Feature stories are stories that describes situations. They are human interest stories that describe situations. So you as a journalist, you'll be required to do what? To be writing feature stories. And when you're writing feature stories, you need to have a very good background of the narrative tenses. So one of the narrative tenses is what you're talking about, the past perfect continuous tense. And it is used for longer activities. These one are not shorter activities. Like when you look at the first one, the simple past continuous, it is used for shorter activities. Now this one is longer activities that were happening continuously up until a specified time in the past. For example, let me give you an example. He looked very tired. He looked very tired. Remember, these are simple past tense. He had been working very hard. That's another simple tense. Simple sentence. Over the past 3 years or 3 weeks. Over the past 3 weeks. So you can actually join this sentence using various conjunction. Like for example, he looked very tired because he had been working very hard. Maybe you can combine this by saying over the past 3 weeks. So that's a very good example. He looked very tired. He had been working. So working is a continuous tense. Looked is a perfect. It's a simple it's actually a perfect tense. He looked is a perfect tense. Working is a continuous tense. And over the past 3 weeks. The past 3 weeks. This is a past tense. He had actually perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense over the past 3 weeks. As with the past continuous tense, the past perfect continuous, so we are saying as with the past continuous tense, the past perfect continuous can show the following. So you can use it to show the following. Number one, you can use it to show unfinished activity. So you can use the past perfect continuous tense to show what? An unfinished activity. For example, he hadn't or he hadn't had the telephone ring because he'd been reading. Let me put it down. Naweza kuwa tunatumia simu zingine ambazo pia sauti ni mbaya. The earpiece zimeharibika and then unapata things are not working well. So these are the examples that I'm talking about. Maybe Emma, you can read for us this particular example. The one that I've just projected here. Emma, we are waiting. Emma, read for us.
He hadn't earned the telephone ring because he had been reading.
Yeah, that's a very good example. So this example is actually used to do what? To show an unfinished activity, meaning that he did not hear the telephone ring because he was reading. So there are two activities here. Number one, he did not hear the telephone ring. So there was a telephone ring and there was him reading the book. So there is an unfinished activity here. The phone was not heard, meaning that activity of the phone ringing was unfinished because this guy was reading. So there is an unfinished activity here. So the next point, it can also be used to show repeated activity. Can be used to show repeated activity. For example, I was tired. I had been cutting wood all day. I was tired because I had been cutting wood all day. Cutting wood does not mean you can actually see cutting wood all day, meaning that it is something that is continuous or repeated. It was done repeatedly, cutting wood all day. So it is used to show a repeated activity. Any question? So Stephen, maybe you can explain to us about the past perfect continuous tense. Then we move to the next one, the future in the past.
Yeah.
Stephen, explain to us.
Past perfect continuous is used to show that an action started in the past and continued to another point in the past. It is also used to show unfinished activity. For example, he
For
hadn't
example?
had the telephone ring. He hadn't had the telephone ring because he'd been reading. Then it is also used to show repeated activity. For example, I was tired because I was cutting wood all day to show repeated activity.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. I hope you are taking notes, all of us. Because sometimes when you look at the notes that you write, they are easier to read than most probably the notes that you receive from lecturers. I'm not saying that some notes that I send you are not easy to read, but you come to realize that whatever someone writes becomes more easier to read than whatever somebody else has given you to read, even your notes. If Stephen, you take your notes and read, they are so interesting to you to read, as opposed to when Yvette gives you the notes, her notes. You come to realize that most of the time they are confusing. They will look confusing, and they will look tiresome in terms of reading, etc. So that's why it is always good to make yourself short notes, because short notes helps you to understand, even if at the end of the day we are going to offer you all the notes that you need. So let's look at the future in the past. Now, this person should be ready. Emma should be very ready for this. Emma, I hope you are listening. You should be ready for the future in the past. So what is the future in the past? Future in the past is used to look into the future. Future in the past is used to look into the future from a point of time. It is used to look into the future from a point of time in the past. The future in the past is used to look into the future from the point of time in the past. So when you talk about the future in the past, you're talking about there was a time when it was the past, and when you are in the past, you were looking at the future. Like, for example, 3 years from, 3 years earlier, you are maybe in a high school, or maybe you are somewhere working in preparation to go to university and do a course. So when you are in that past, you are looking at the future. So now we want to write it down. So you'll be telling us about the future in the past. That in the past, you had a future. And that future is what you are describing it in writing as we speak. However, we are told that this future event still occurred at a time before the present time. So Emma, I believe you're hearing, because you will explain to us all this. Let me give an example of future in the past. I woke up at 8 a.m. yesterday. You see, you're talking about yesterday. I was meeting my boss at 10 o'clock. No, I was meeting my boss at 10 o'clock that morning. At 10 o'clock that morning. So I wouldn't be able to have lunch with Susan. I wasn't going to get home again until late that night. I woke up at 8 a.m. yesterday. I was meeting my boss at 10 o'clock that morning. So I wouldn't be able to have lunch. You see, He's talking about, so I wouldn't be able to have lunch with Susan. So what does that sentence tell us, Stephen? Underline I've underlined that. Stephen, what does that tell us? So I wouldn't be able to have lunch with Susan. Or Yvette, you can tell us. I am waiting.
Pardon, please. Pardon.
I'm saying I'm looking at this particular sentence. When you read this particular sentence, there is that particular section that I've bolded, I've put in bold. What does it tell us? The sentence in bold. So I wouldn't be able to have lunch with Susan. What is this person trying to tell us?
Can I try?
Yes.
It means the person was not in a position to have lunch with Susan.
Yvette.
Yes.
Tell us what this person is trying to tell us. Explain to us.
So the person is saying, I woke up at 8 a.m. yesterday. I was meeting my boss at 10 o'clock that morning, so I wouldn't be able to have lunch with Susan. Maybe his meeting with his boss was going to be longer, that he wouldn't be able to have lunch with Susan.
There is something that you're not telling us. There is something in that particular sentence that needs to be brought out clearly. Maybe I think you can try. Or maybe Yvette, you can try later. Irene.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us what this means.
I said maybe the person is not in a position to have lunch with Susan due to the meeting that he was going to have with his boss.
You are not seeing what I'm seeing. When you read this particular sentence, you will see something. I woke up at 8 a.m. yesterday. That is okay. I was meeting my boss at 10 o'clock that morning. It is also okay. So I wouldn't be able to have lunch with Susan. I wasn't going to get home again until late that night.
Should it be
Yvette,
I wasn't able?
Huh?
Should it be I wasn't able to have lunch with Susan?
Let me put it like this. Suppose it is me, your lecturer, and I'm saying, so I wouldn't be able to have lunch with Yvette. So I woke up at 8 a.m. yesterday. I was meeting my boss at 10 o'clock. This is your lecturer speaking that morning. So I wouldn't be able to have lunch with Yvette. I wasn't going to get home again until late that night.
Should it be I woke up at 8 a.m. yesterday. I was meeting my boss at
what?
I was meeting my boss
at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say, tell us the meaning of this particular sentence. What is this person trying to tell us? Anyway, I will put it like that. Maybe we can come to it later. This particular sentence, it looks awkward to me. It looks awkward to me. It looks like, anyway, I will not say it. So let's continue and say, so that is the example. So depending on the situation, the following tenses are used in the future. I mean, in the future, in the past. The following tenses or sentences are used. Tenses are used in the future, in the past. Number one, we have the past simple. We have the past simple. They are used in the past. Number two, we have the past continuous. So when you talk about the past simple, we are talking about a timetable event. The past simple is a timetable event. The past continuous is an arrangement. The past continuous is an arrangement. Would is a prediction. Is a prediction. Was going to is a plan. Would be going to is an action at a specified time. And would have done is an action completed before a specified time. Let me share this so that you can see. So the past simple is a timetable event. The past continuous is an arrangement. Would is a prediction. Was going is a plan. Was going to is a plan. Would be going or will be doing. Would be doing is an action at a specified time. And would have done is an action completed before the specified time. Any question? Do we have any question at that point? Yvette, Steven, Irene, the other one is Emma. So if you don't have any questions, just remember that I'm going to give you something. Remember, there is always something that you should be given for you to do. In every class, lazima upewe kitu fulani ufanye. Ukishafanya, then you do what? You contribute. That's how it is timetabled. That in every, like for example, when you open your course, you will realize that there is an activity that you're supposed to do. So instead of telling you to go to the library to read, I will not do that. I will always be sending you what? A video for you to watch, then you discuss what we are talking about. So at this particular time, I will send you a video to watch on narrative tenses. Then I'm going to put it this way. It's going to be like a discussion. Let me arrange it this way so that watu wasikimbie. Kuna ambao wanakimbia tu. Emma, you will have a discussion with Steven. Emma, you're going to have a discussion with Steven Moema. Irene, you will have a discussion with Yvette on a video that I'm going to share about narrative tenses. You're going to discuss new things as far as narrative tenses are concerned, also giving example. What we have not learned here is what you're going to discuss. So I'm going to put it in a forum such that, Emma, you're going to create your own group with who? With Steven. And Irene, you're going to create your own group with Steven. And you're going to discuss the two about something that you have not learned today, on narrative tenses. We have 1 hour to do that work. We have 1 hour to do that work. And it's from there that I'm going to tick whether you are absent or late. Again, I'm going to post an assignment. That is assignment 1. I'm going to post an assignment there. And this assignment, I'll give a date when it's supposed to expire. So when you open that assignment, you will see the day when it's supposed to expire. The assignment will be out of 10 marks. This is your assignment 1. Remember that assignments should always be submitted on this portal. Don't send me assignment through WhatsApp, Facebook, or any other social media or even email. Submit your assignment on this particular portal so that it can be marked and those marks can remain in the system. So that assignment, if you feel you can finish it today, it's okay. If you feel you can do it next week or maybe this Saturday and submit it on Monday, it is okay. But I'm going to give you a whole week. I'll give you a whole week to do the assignment. If the time expires before you submitting the assignment, just know that you have gotten yourself a 0. Unless there are other special charges that you encountered. Are we together? So I'm going to create a group first. The last thing there will be an assignment. The last thing there will be an assignment that I'm going to post, and the assignment is out of 10 marks. Kwa sababu hakuna swali, let me share that video right now.